In the headlines, the Mental Health Act is being upgraded. Training underway for local firefighters in how to deal with electric vehicle fires. A group of St. George residents are keeping busy as they actively age. And in sports, Wales and Wotton to duke it out for the BFA Republic Cup.
The headline news is brought to you by RBC, a bank for all of you.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening with the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. Work has started to update the island's decades-old Mental Health Act. This was revealed by Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw during the opening of 2 newly renovated buildings at the psychiatric hospital. Sharika Griffith was there and filed this report.
Barbados has been receiving technical assistance from the Pan American Health Organization to revise the 1985 Mental Health Act to bring it in line with advances in the delivery of care. According to Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw, the proposed changes include the provision of rehabilitation services and mental health care in the community.
The Act covers care provided in the hospital setting, but does not currently include that provided by consultant psychiatrists practicing in our polyclinics or by community mental health nurses who make home visits to newly discharged patients and to at-risk individuals. And let me just impress the urgency of having this done, Dr. Brown, because I think during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people were lost as well in terms of their connection with their doctors, and I know a lot of people who would have been taking medication, they've stopped taking it, and you need to be able to have the community health nurses really within the community to get these people back reintegrated and get them back on track.
The Acting Prime Minister has also disclosed that action plans are being developed for suicide prevention, among other things.
PAHO is collaborating with the Ministry of Health and Wellness in the development of a roadmap for mental health reform and a mental health strategic plan for the continued development of mental health care and its delivery in Barbados. In addition, plans are being finalized for further strengthening and expanding of community-based services through the development of action plans for suicide prevention, anti-stigma, maternal mental health, psychological first aid, and workplace mental health wellness.
Ms. Bradshaw was addressing the official ceremony for the reopening of the recreational and occupational therapy buildings at the psychiatric hospital. The disused buildings, which once housed a kitchen and the other a P ward, were demolished to make way for the construction and retrofitting of the new buildings through a $3.9 million investment by the Maria Holder Memorial Trust. Chairman of the trust, Christopher Holder, says stigma and the small size of the island make it harder for people to access mental health care privately. But he says just as people prioritize physical health, they must recognize the significance of mental well-being.
The Psychiatric Hospital Occupational and Recreational Therapy Department are therefore invaluable in assisting patients to re-establish themselves as functional members of their communities. Mental health conditions are not a sign of weakness. They are medical conditions deserving of compassion and proper care. Just as we would not stigmatize someone for having diabetes or heart disease, we should extend the same understanding to those grappling with mental health challenges.
According to Mr. Holder, the psychiatric hospital currently caters for 520 people. He anticipates all will benefit from the use of the new facilities at some point. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
And we shift our attention now to our southern neighbors, Guyana and Venezuela, where tensions are growing over the claims to the Essequibo region. Over 95% of Venezuelans voted in yesterday's referendum, rejecting the International Court of Justice jurisdiction and are backing the creation of a new state in the oil-rich Essequibo.
And President Nicolas Maduro's government took a 5-question quote-unquote consultative referendum. Now, as per the country's electoral authority, all questions pass with 95% of approval. This comes despite the court's litigation over where the border for the two countries should lie. Guyana has voiced concern that this public vote will pave way for Venezuela to, quote unquote, unilaterally and illegally seize the territory.
Guyana is on high alert after the Venezuelans voted yes to the referendum. President Dr. Irfan Ali says they will not be caught wanting.
The president of Guyana, we have to take everything the president of the military say very seriously. And their rhetoric has not been one that is encouraging. The second issue is in relation to reckless and adventurous behavior. This type of rhetoric and referendum can lead to many circumstances. People acting on their own, whipping up public sentiments around an issue in which you're trying to create a conflict.
And joining us live for an exclusive interview is the security advisor to President Dr. Irfan Ali and long-standing Barbados Honorary Consul to Guyana, Captain Jerry Gavaya. Good evening to you, Captain Gavaya, and thanks for accepting our invitation.
Good evening, and thanks for having me.
What does high alert mean for Guyana and its people?
It means that exactly what the President said. While we are a peaceful nation, we have no intention to create any conflict, but I want to tell you that we are, in fact, very alert on our western border. Our forces are deployed. They're patrolling our border, the mountains and the creeks. And allies are working with us to make sure that our borders remain safe, as was defined in the 1899 award, where the borders lie with our western with Venezuela. So there's no question in our mind legally where our border stands, and it lies in as defined in the 1899 award, which Venezuela for some reason seem to want to ignore, and they're making all these threats. They're very, very aggressive to Guyana, while we are extending a hand of love and friendship to their people who are coming to Guyana. They're in our hospitals, in our schools, in their housing, and we are working together as brothers and sisters. The Venezuelan government is being very aggressive. They're behaving like the neighborhood bully, and we are a democratic nation, just like Barbados, just like the rest of the Caribbean. We believe in the rule of law and democracy, and so we are very, very disappointed in the rhetoric that is coming out of the leadership of Venezuela. But certainly Guyana is not going to be taken by surprise. I think the President Irfan Ali made it very clear that Guyana forces are on alert. Our allies are standing with us very strongly, and we have no intention to be aggressive to any one of our neighbors.
Let's look at the people, especially those near the Essequibo region. Are they feeling panicked, and how can you help to, quieten the tensions they may be feeling?
Well, President Ali himself led a team, including myself, and we went and we spent almost 2 days walking the line along the western border, meeting our people, talking to our people, visiting our forces on the ground, and we were actually quite satisfied that Guyanese are very firm in their conviction of where Guyana lies and what we stand for. We stand for freedom, we stand for democracy, we stand for the rule of law, and we are certainly not going to allow a government in Venezuela this time that is certainly not democratic, and certainly they seem not to be following the rule of law. They seem not to have any respect for international law. But I will tell you, one of the things that is disappointing many Guyanese sometimes is when there seem to be, not necessarily the governments of the Caribbean, but when people in the Caribbean seems to waver in their understanding and support of where Guyana stands on this. We are not aggressive at all. We love our Venezuelan neighbors, and the Venezuelan government is waging this aggressive campaign against Guyana, and they're being backed by their own allies.
Should Barbadians pay close attention to the matter?
Well, Barbados should. Guyana and Barbados is so very close. Your Prime Minister and President Ali they have an amazing relationship, one that provides a lot of leadership to CARICOM. And President Ali made it very clear over and over that Guyana's prosperity is not going to be ring-fenced in Guyana. It's certainly going to be shared with the rest of the Caribbean. And so when this kind of aggression is happening to Guyana, I believe that all free people, all free-thinking people, all the people that believe in the rule of law and democracy should really pay attention to what is happening and pay attention to what Venezuela is attempting to do. Why would they want to come and take advantage of a small, peaceful country in a zone of peace and talk about war and have their soldiers parading and talking about annexing and military action against Guyana? But I just want to re-emphasize, President Ali did say we are on high alert, and I want to assure you that we are. And while we hope for the better, we are not going to not expect the unusual.
Okay. We thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that none of those forces have to go into action. Thank you so much. That was Mr. Jerry Gavaya, the Security Advisor to President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali. Coming up, we'll show what some St. George residents are doing as they actively age together. Officers of the Barbados Fire Service are undergoing critical training in how to deal with electrical vehicle crashes and fires. Speaking during the opening ceremony of the training program, Home Affairs Minister Wilfred Abrams said as government rolls out its strategies aimed at reducing the carbon footprint in the environment, it is imperative to acknowledge the challenges and potential risks these initiatives pose to first responders, especially in managing incidents involving electric and hybrid vehicles.
The shift towards environmentally conscious transport options brings with it a new set of challenges, and it's our responsibility to equip the fire service with all the tools and resources necessary and comprehensive training to effectively mitigate any potential incidents.
He says the training is aimed at the safety of the officers, and he gave some insight into what the course is about.
Throughout this course, they will delve into the intricacies of managing incidents involving EVs and hybrids, and they will also get a better understanding of the associated risks linked to both private and public charging stations. It is vital to grasp these complexities to efficiently and effectively handle any situation that may arise. Our government is deeply committed to advancing our greening objectives, but equally, we stand firm in our commitment to providing the Barbados Fire Service with the requisite training and resources to ensure their safety while executing their duties.
At least 2 car dealerships, Megapower and Inchcape Barbados, are lending support to the training, as we hear from their executives.
Once the first EV Mercedes-Benz models arrive on island, our HSC and technical teams will initiate additional training with the Barbados Fire Service personnel.
We have run emergency first responders training to the fire brigade, to the police force, the ambulance sectors, so all the emergency first responders in the past. I think this is the largest collection, and it's a weeks-long training. We're very, very excited to be able to support that alongside everybody else in this room.
Chairman of the Barbados Broadcast Authority, Dr. Alison Leacock, wants local broadcasters to stop applauding mediocrity and raise the standards. She was speaking on the People's Business last night when she noted that there's training and then there's proper training.
How we train people and who trains people. You can train and tick a box. You can train badly. You can train bad habits. None of that helps somebody to transform into the breadth and the depth of what a broadcaster is versus an announcer versus a DJ. Now, there is a role for all of those dimensions, and we have seen the absolute burgeoning of DJs. There's a role for them. But I think those of us who are trained broadcasters have to take some of the blame for allowing the standards to fall as low as they have.
The veteran broadcaster, who also heads the National Transformation Initiative, says when it comes to standards, we need to be unapologetic.
Because I like you or I know you, it doesn't mean because you want to do it that you are good at it. And I have a responsibility to shield you from ridicule if you are below par. I have a responsibility to raise the bar, to help you get to where you can get to. And I believe that if we were to revisit all of what we have been accepting as adequate rather than the best, rather than being top drawer, which is what we are capable of. And CBC has turned out the finest. So there is absolutely no reason for us to settle. And I think that, for me, is a huge, huge problem.
A group of residents from St. George are not letting age deter them from doing anything. In fact, it's the process of getting older which has brought them together to engage in a number of activities. Ordine Duke, who resides in Draxhall, is a member of the Active Agers who carry out their sessions at the community centre there. Their oldest member is 77 years old and the youngest 32.
We do plenty things. We started off in 2018 with just 3 persons, but now we gradually gravitated to 8 and then to 24. In the process, we have only 2 men who associate with us every Monday from 10 until 1 o'clock. We go on tours, we do health talks, we have lectures, we do a lot of craft, and a whole lot of other things that will be really inspiring to any person who are willing to come and who are interested in doing these things.
The craft which they did was on display today at the community centre, and it ranged from ceramics, basketry, crochet, cement, shell art, t-shirt printing and a range of other craft items. One of the men in the group, Trevor Lashley, explained how some of his pieces were created.
This is made out of newspaper. This is made out of, this part here is the mahogany tree corks. The mahogany tree cork, and we put them in flowers. This one is a palm tree, and this is a Christmas tree.
CARICOM Youth Ambassador and UNICEF Youth Advocate Ashley Lashley held Hug for Hope campaign to bring awareness to mental health in the city over the weekend. She walked through Bridgetown hugging citizens and any person in her quest to show and share love. When CBC visited and spoke to her, Ms. Lashley said that with the depression and suicide being a constant topic with the youth, she believes simple things like just a hug can help.
Even when it comes to depression, persons don't feel like they have someone to turn to or to trust. But just by giving a simple hug, just by reaching out to someone, just by showing love and unity and respect for someone, you can change a person's day just by saying, "Hi, I care about you." And that's what we really want to promote with this Hug for Hope campaign.
Time now to say goodnight to Damien Bess in the Sports Centre.
Good evening to you, Wendy. Good evening to our viewers and listeners. Some football news first up. Defending champions Weymouth Wales marched into the finals of the Republic Cup by thrashing UWI Blackbirds 5-1 last night at the BFA Wildy Turf. Wales will clash with Wotton Football Club on December 10th in the final after the latter beat Britons Hill 3-2 in the other exciting semi-final. The Wildy Turf, the place to be for the Republic Cup semi-finals. First matchup, Britons Hill in red versus Wotton Football Club. 13th minute, Jabari Papi Chandler rising to the occasion, and we have liftoff. Wotton 1, Britons Hill 0. More to come in this one. Britons Hill probing down the right flank. Gerard Maximus cut down in the line of duty in the danger area. That's indeed a penalty. And Gonzi Reed to level, emphatic. 1-1 then at the break. 6 minutes after the resumption, Wotton engineered a move down the left flank with Omani Leacock at the core. Nice 1-2 in behind the defense to Shane Lord with the nifty footwork and brought down. Penalty coming. Only fear for Leacock to give it a go. Wotton with the 2-1 lead. Body fake and drilled. Dead ball situation now at the opposite end. Ray Francis for Britons Hill. Header is saved, but look at the red shirts charging into the 6-yard box. Reed gets his second 2-all. And it stayed that way at the end of 90-plus minutes, so extra time was required. Wotton into the attacking third. Cardinal sin. Lord goes tumbling in the box. Another penalty coming. Jafari Watson is also shown a second yellow card. And of course, the dreaded red is next. Lord now with the opportunity to be a hero. Shaquille Frank sticks out the left hand. Well done. The boys in blue had so much chances to put this one away, but lacked the finishing quality in front of goal. Well, something had to give, and in the 105th minute, Wotton finally delivered what would be the dagger to end it all. A poor clearance. Renico Marshall into the 18. King has a goal, and just like that, it's Barbados' #1 tennis player with the ace. Talented folks, Wotton come away with the victory over Britain's Hill to advance to the final. Semi-final number 2 featured the defending champions Weymouth Wales versus UWI Blackbirds. 14th minute, the Blackbirds caught ball watching. Akeem Hill side-footed, 1-0 Wales. 4 minutes later, a delightful through ball picked out. Nadre Butcher leaves the defender and goalkeeper for dead. Class is class, 2-0. UWI looked ragged and devoid of answers. 24th minute, Wales pressing for a third in the opening 45. The speed of Butcher, devastating. The abattoir is open. It's a slaughter, 3-0. Before you could blink, Butcher completed his hat-trick in the 34th minute. The defense out of position from the top of the 18. That is lethal. An ESPN Top 10 play nominee. Worth the celebration as well. 4-0 then at halftime. There was no coming back from that position, and UWI's situation got even worse at crisis level now in the 74th. Elijah Downey on a platter to Akil Apowit, left foot, sweet, 5-0. UWI would get a consolation in the 80th, but the result was signed, sealed, and delivered from early. Wales into the final, 5-1 winners on the night. They advance to meet Wotton on December 10th. Some cricket news now. West Indies Academy defeated emerging Ireland by a massive 432-run margin to win the second four-day match at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua today. Resuming the final day on 174 for 4, West Indies Academy declared on 321 for 8 in 71.2 overs, setting the hosts 558 for victory. Barbadian Kevin Wickham produced a brilliant unbeaten century of 105, inclusive of 6 fours and 5 sixes. West Indies Academy then dismissed the emerging Ireland team 143 in 37.5 overs. Joshua Bishop was the pick of the bowlers, snatching up 4 for 36 for match figures of 8 for 54. So scores once again in the contest: West Indies Academy 326 and 321 for 8 declared. Emerging Ireland 72 and 143. Well, Jack Francis won the 2023 Barbados National 3-Move Restriction Championship last night when the tournament climaxed at the Top Grade Academy in Bush Hall. Francis, seated on the left in the cap, entered the final round of the Masters category with a comfortable 6-point lead and clinched the title on 21 points after having to settle for a draw against Kent Lane. Francis, who will be heading to Kenya on Wednesday to take part in the Kenya Open Drafts Tournament, played unbeaten throughout the tournament. Trevor Howell and Carson Farley ended on 16 points apiece, but Howell plays second via the honour points system. Francis tells CBC Sports the upcoming trip to Africa is part of future plans for Barbados to help develop the sport on that continent.
I am very upbeat, confident that the Africans will be dismantled similarly to what I did with the opponents in the Barbados National just coded yesterday as well. So I don't think that there is any stopping of Jack Francis, because the fact that this tournament is go as you please, I label myself as the most feared go as you please draft player in the world. It's a promotional deal because at some point in time they are saying at the same time that they want to considering my services to coach drafts in Kenya to develop young Kenyan draft players and sort of thing like that, and bring some sort of recognition to the game of Kenya, because for some reason, they are the other best known to themselves. The game in Kenya is short of international recognition.
Meanwhile, in the Majors division, Hamilton King finished on 22 points to be the winner, while Chad Knight and Cletus Pinder shared joint second position of the round-robin contest on 20 points.
In business news, German automobile manufacturer BMW has designed a special state-of-the-art showroom to accommodate class and luxury vehicles. Director of Sales for Latin America and the Caribbean, Alexander Loon, made the revelation as he addressed the ceremony at the company's new offices in Warren, St. Michael. Trevor Thorpe has the story.
The automotive official says it's a boutique-style showroom with a luxury hotel feeling, and putting the customer first will be a priority. He says the operation is focused on electromobility.
So going forward, and this is a trend that we all see everywhere in the world, electromobility is the new era of mobility. And being an engineer, a mechanical engineer, there are two things really that enable electromobility. One is recuperation. So under braking, under modest braking, you actually recuperate energy. And on conventional cars, you just turn something into heat, energy that you lose. So efficiency of the car itself. And the second thing is home charging. So that's the breakthrough, really. You can charge your car at home. You don't have to go to a petrol station.
General Manager Nicholas Branker says the new facility is for all BMW owners.
We've done previously is that we started a campaign where we were inviting BMW customers to come in, and mini customers to come in and register your vehicle with us, just so that we can get an idea of what is in the market for both combustion engines and maybe for those who have brought in any electric vehicles. So we are not, in terms of after sales, we are not only specific to electric, but we will be servicing combustion engines as well. So any BMW owners who would have a BMW that are wondering if we are, yes we are, we definitely are.
Safety and performance are at the core of the new generation of cars from the German automaker. Trevor Thorpe, Business Report.
Small businesses from across the country got the opportunity to showcase their products and services and connect with old and new customers at the Cloth Holiday Pop-Up Shop and Expo on Saturday. Or Crystal Hoyt has more.
Barbados' largest pop-up shop got underway Saturday at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Centre, with over 100 vendors showcasing their products and services. Founder and organizer Khadija Miller said the Cloth Holiday Pop-Up Shop and Expo was all about empowering local entrepreneurs.
Cloth Holiday Pop-Up Shop Expo brings together over 118 vendors. So we have a wide variety of vendors here today, and we are pretty excited because we've added a number of experiences to the event. So this year we added the digital banking lounge. We partnered with some financial institutions, educating Barbadians about digital banking services and also small businesses, how they can improve their processes. We've also added a few exciting experiences in terms of a sip and paint for both kids and adults. And we also had some competitions, a ham cutter eating competition and a nugget eating competition sponsored by Farmer's Choice. And we also had a hot wing eating competition sponsored by Western Hotel.
CIBC First Caribbean Senior Manager Client Engagement Shakita Grant described the digital banking lounge as a success.
We've actually partnered today with Sagicor Bank, Republic Bank, Barbados Public Workers Credit Union, and Barbados Workers Union Credit Union to host this digital banking drive. And we really want the public to embrace more of our digital offering. You're able to sign up for online banking where you can monitor your cards, pay your bills, transfer money to people. As we were walking around the expo today, we were heartened and delighted to see so many small businesses taking payments via our CIBC First Caribbean First Pay. So you didn't have to worry about, should I walk with $100 or $200? Because as long as the money is on your account, you could have digitally transferred it.
Small business owner Shirley Stevenson says she first heard of the pop-up shop back in 2018.
It was an amazing opportunity for small businesses to grow, and I find like people interact with my products much better in person than online. I get to try them on, and then I also get to network with other entrepreneurs, so I can expand my network for like collaborations and stuff like that. So it is really an amazing event. That's why I keep coming back.
Miller says pop-ups like these are the perfect opportunity to support local businesses just in time for the holiday season. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
And it's time to go to Damien Best for a second round in sports.
Thanks so much, Wendy. Well, Tyrese Holder is the winner of the Last Man Standing Independence Road Tennis Tournament. Holder beat Raheem Nurse to win the one-day tournament hosted by the Garrison Historic Road Tennis Academy and Club Inc. CBC's Akeem Klinkett reports.
Tyrese Holder in the white versus Raheem Nurse as Holder gets the game going with a deceptive backhand push. Holder again, this time with the forehand, applying the force with the cross-court shot. This was no one-sided affair though, as Nurse kept up the pressure from his end as well, returning each shot. This time Holder makes the mistake. Nurse now creating a lane of his own. Forehand down the line, Holder has no chance. It was a very close first game that deuced, and in the end, Holder was the winner, taking it 22-20. On to the second set, and Nurse came out with aggression. Powerful shot produces the error from Holder. Holder, however, already a set up, was looking to finish it in 2 straight as he brings the cross-court dagger. Just as in the first set, it was tick for tack in the second. Nurse showing he has shots in his repertoire, cross-court for the point. This set went to deuce 2, and Nurse showing why he's in the final, having a reply for every shot Holder brought. He went on to take the second, 23-21, to tie up the final at 1 game each. So let's go to the deciding third set, and Nurse continued to force the issue. Holder doing a good job keeping the rally going, but he loses his racket, point Nurse. Nurse continued his dominance from the second set. Fantastic tennis from the 2 finalists, but Nurse gets the point again as Holder turns to the umpire for a second. They switch sides with Nurse leading 10-9. Holder decided it was time to take over, sending Nurse the wrong direction this time with his cross-court forehand. Holder now showing his versatility, saying, "I can beat you on both sides." Goes past his right this time. Holder, the enforcer and the dominator in the last set, taking it 21-13, and the final 2-1. Akeem Klinkett, CBC Sports.
Thanks, Akeem. Finally, Club United were no match for Carlton as the Goddard Enterprises Limited Division 1 Volleyball League competition returned to the Willie Gym last evening. In this bottom of the table match, Carlton won in 3 straight to move to 20 points with only their 3rd victory out of 20 matches. League volleyball action, Carlton versus Club United to the right of screen. Good exchanges early on. Big spike leads to a point for Carlton. The defense also looked very sharp. Tiara Johnson helping to repel this attack from the club as they march towards securing the first set. The club eventually folding in the first, 25-18. A switch of ends, the club doing well this time around. Both teams not able to execute a good attack. A couple free balls really should have been put away, but in the end it's the error from Carlton, point to the club. And they followed that up with another determined defensive stand that allowed their offense to gain some momentum. Another error from Carlton. Carlton returned to normal programming to secure the second set as well. That's a kill down the line. It wasn't all brute force. A little dink into space, and Carlton claimed the second set at 25-17. The third was a mere formality. Even striking from the backcourt, Carlton looked assured to get a result. The club struggling with movement. In the end, Carlton cruising to victory in 3 straight at 18, 17, and 15.
That's our news. Enjoy the rest of your evening.